Oh man, I always answer the same, man. I mean, I feel very grateful with Davison for what we did in the UFC, in the MMA, for our careers, for the history of the sport. But I mean, of course, I feel happy at the same time, to fight with another guy. I felt this kind of fresh air when I fought against Kaikar France in Dallas, and this one is the same. I feel very cool.
Pantoja was here earlier. He had a lot of respect for you. But I know he was kind of like right in front of your face saying, let's fight, let's get this going. Did that make it kind of personal for you at all?
Nah, man. I mean, sorry if I'm not this guy who loves to talk shit in social media or try to make some drama. But at the end, that works for me, man. The people love what I'm doing because it's real, it's natural. So I don't have nothing personal against Alexandre Pantoja. For sure, this competitive part of myself, knowing he beat me twice in the past, give me a different flavor for sure. But at the same time, I'm just thinking about the opportunity, man. The opportunity to, hey, if you beat Alexander Pantoja in the T-Mobile Arena, International Fight Week, man, your legacy, man, your legacy. So I'm just like very focused in that last goal to win my next fight, my second first title defense.
It is interesting, right? The history between you two, that he has beaten you twice. I mean, how much does that impact this? Like, is there like a mental thing there when you get in there or something, about the technique? I mean, how much do those two last fights affect this fight?
I mean, I don't know how he's managing this new fight against me because I've been like watching like a stalker all his interviews and everything, and I can see it, and he say no, but I can feel like he's motivated. Like, hey, I know I beat him, I can do it again. He has this that kind of sensation. I can see it in his face and how he in his body language. For me, it's just that competitive part. Like, man, he beat you, but you need to know you are so different. And I don't like to talk too much about like, oh, I'm a different fighter and whatever, because I don't even need to talk about it. The people can say it. I mean, a lot of fighters say like, oh, I'm a different fighter, I changed too much. But then you watch their fights and it's kind of the same. But my situation, I always put this example, like, it's very similar, for example, with Charles Oliveira. Like, when he came to the UFC, he was a kind of, a good fighter, winning some fights, losing some fights, then getting some bonuses, then loses again. But then he started to win and win and win, and everybody was like, what happened with this guy? Why he's just winning? And then he got the title. He lost against Makhachev, but then he got this amazing victory against Benil Dariush. So I think it's very hard to find example like that, and I feel I'm that kind of example. I just change. I'm just different. Talking about the technical part, talking about the mental part, and that's it, man. I just want to show that to the world this Saturday. I don't want to talk too much about it, but man, I'm ready. I'm ready to shine this Saturday.
Last thing for me, you had this long chapter with Deiveson Figueiredo, and then you mentioned this one kind of for your legacy to get the. Are there other fights that you see on the horizon for yourself that you need for your legacy or you want for your legacy?
Yeah, man, I'm focused in Pantoja right now. I know I can start to talk and say like, hey, I want to fight with this, with this, with this. But man, I can't disrespect Pantoja right now. And actually, I don't want to say any name right now. I want to be very focused in Pantoja because I know he's motivated, he won my head, and he won my belt. And man, this one is mine. Not this one, but you understand.
Brandon, right here. You mentioned, this is the first defense of the second reign. What do you want this one to be different compared to your first time, like both mentally and just how you're trying to perceive yourself as a champion?
Yes, I was talking about this before. I remember my first title defense in Anaheim. everything changed. Talking about, I mean, my media obligations, all the cameras, the interviews. Man, that can be very stressful at the end. I remember myself finishing. I don't know. I remember Tuesday or Wednesday after all the media. I went to my room. I was like, oh man, I'm so exhausted. I mean, I'm done. But then I remember, like, oh, now you need to train and sweat because you need to make weight this Friday. Like, oh my goodness. So I just tried to learn from that. And yeah.
Do you feel like in hindsight maybe you weren't quite ready for that and now you are?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, the experience. I mean, I know it. Every single fight, I know what is coming. You know, I speak English, I speak Spanish, so I know every single interview is both languages. For example, I'm just doing examples, and I changed my trainings. For example, and now I train in the morning, and spend all my energy in that training. Then I go for the media, and but at the end, if I'm tired, like, I mean, if I do a bad interview.
And the last fight, I know the transition between camps. You went to Fortis, and it was a little bit chaotic. But now you've had the full proper camp with Safe and everything. Can you just talk about how that relationship is growing and what it's been like to train there?
Man, Safe and we made a huge connection almost immediately. So last year, 2022, came with a lot of drama. Because I changed my team from Tijuana to Kansas City with James. The people know what happened. Then I needed to find immediately another head coach. Safe came with us, trying to help. And we make that connection immediately, and that works because when we start to work together, we had just like 4 weeks to prepare for Davis and Figueiredo in Rio. So, man, we did an amazing time in a short period of time. For this new training camp, I went to Dallas. I went to Fortis MMA. I meet all the guys. Everybody were very nice with me. And man, the training camp was insane. Was very hard. But I love that because at the same time we keep this balance between a crazy hard training camp and taking care of my body. Getting that recovery you needed at the end of the week. So, man, I'm just excited. I'm just ready to fight. I'm dying right now. I need food. I need some pics or whatever. But just give me that, and after that, just kicking asses sometime this Saturday.
Brandon, over here. If I had told you when you lost to Alexandre the first time and the Ultimate Fighter that you'd be fighting a third time, but for the UFC title, like years later, what would you have said then?
I don't know. Maybe yes, because I was very young. He was having a good moment. And in my mind, when I lost against him, yes, for example, maybe, I'm trying to remember, maybe the first month was very hard, like, oh, I don't know. You have these negative thoughts in your mind, like, I don't know if this is for me. I don't know if I want to keep going, blah, blah, blah. You wake up in the morning and you need to go and train. And you're like, I don't know, I'm not sure if I want to go to train today, But in the moment when I passed all those negative thoughts, I was focused on just keep going. Like, I need to keep going. I need to keep fighting, not just for me. For my wife, for my daughters, for my teammates, for all the people who believe in me. And I don't know, man. If you told me that in that moment, like, yeah, let's go. Yes, for sure. Just give me a new opportunity.
Is any part of you jealous about Yair's custom belt that he's been carrying around?
Oh man, it's beautiful. Actually, the belt is so beautiful. I don't know if you had the opportunity yet to watch the belt right here because he bring the belt with him. But it's beautiful. It's very nice. Not jealous, but it's just very nice.
And then last one for me, Saturday is going to be Robbie Lawler's last fight, and then he's going to retire. I'm curious if you have any favorite memories or favorite fights from his career.
Of Robbie? Of course, man. That one with Rory McDonald's, if you are a huge UFC fan, you can't forget that one. He's a warrior, and I'm just happy to share the car with him.
Brandon? You called out Henry Cejudo a few times. What about that fight excites you? Is it because you used to be close and now you're not? Is it just because you want to go chase greatness? Like, what about that fight excites you?
Man, sorry, but I'm so focused for Pantoja, so I don't have like any comments about Henry Cejudo right now. Sorry.
That's all good. What's your most valuable Pokemon card?
Oh man! So let me tell you. So everybody saw that embedded with my daughter. Opened the cards this weekend. She opened a package with a really value a Japanese card about Mew in a new collection. It's Pokemon 151. It's about the first generation of Pokemons. That one is very cool. It's in gold. I actually, it's funny because I told her like, hey, we need to take care of this one because maybe I pay the college with this one. So you never know.
Awesome. Thank you.
Brandon, oh, right here. Hi, how you doing? So the first time you guys fought was on Tough. The second time you guys fought was on the prelims. How does it feel that both you guys have elevated your careers to the point now that you're in the co-main event of one of the UFC's premier events?
No, man, I'm happy for him and I'm happy for myself, obviously. You know, at the end of the day, I'm fighting for this, you know. I don't know. In the past, I was just happy thinking hey, hopefully one day I'm going to fight in the International Fight Week. Not even thinking about belts, not even thinking about main events or, main cards. I just want to fight there.
Awesome.
But now, I don't know, nothing. I mean, now I'm fighting that, Pantoja, happy for him for what he's doing.
And there's three teams that are guaranteeing like death, taxes, and both you guys are like excited fights. So, as far as the fight goes, is there a level of importance of stealing the show, putting on an incredible fight, or is it about beating him and keeping it about is pleasing the crowd one of those top priorities as much as?
Oh man, my mind is right now is focused just about the winning, man. I just want to win. I don't care nothing more. Man, I'm just so focusing win, man. Oof, just to think about winning right now, my skin, man. I just want to win.
Brandon, over.
One question from me. So this is the first time fighting in Las Vegas in 3 years. How's it feel to be back, and how do you feel about the reception you got?
Man, I'm expecting a lot of Mexican flags around the arena, around the T-Mobile this Saturday. So the first time was against Kaikara France, 2019. That was cool, but I think it was the second or third fight of the card. The last one was at the Apex against Davison with no crowd for the pandemic. Now we came in a different way for sure, and man, I'm expecting fireworks from the people.
Thank you so much.
Brandon, por aquí en español, por favor, buenas tardes.
Claro.
Buenos días. Ya tú tuviste una rivalidad muy grande con Figueiredo de 4 peleas.
Sí, señor.
Esta es una tercera también, es otra rivalidad dura. ¿Cuán similar y a la misma vez cuán diferente es esta serie de peleas? Si la comparas con las que tuviste con Figueiredo, ¿cómo la ves tú? ¿Similar y diferente?
Claro, mira.
Brandon, you've had
sorry.
4 fights against Figueiredo, and now you're going into your 3rd fight against Pantoja. Again, another series of fights. How do you compare? What are the differences between those, and what are the similarities between those?
Tienes que desquitar el cheque.
Para que le entiendan, para que todos.
Claro que sí. Pues mira, vengo de esta rivalidad muy loca con Davison que duró básicamente 2 años. Por ahí esta pausa con Kaikara France en Dallas. Pero, 2 años intercambiando palabras con Davison en redes sociales, las entrevistas, el estrés, el campeonato. Obviamente de que Davison estaba bien duro y que las peleas fueron complicadas. Entonces, no te voy a negar que a pesar de que voy a otra rivalidad, esta pelea me da un aire de frescura. Simplemente el hecho de haber estado en un campamento donde entrené diferente, hice un plan de pelea diferente para otro peleador específico. Sí te da como que cierto aire de ligereza, de frescura. A la vez pensando en que sí, entiendo y tomo muy en cuenta el hecho de que ya es Alexandre Pantoja un rival que también pues conozco de cierta manera, ¿no?
I've had a rivalry of basically 2 years of Davis and Figueiredo, not just the fights, but also exchanging words on social media. Really, it took its toll, except for the break against Kaikara France. It was pretty much it all the time. And although this is it is a series now, I do have to say there's a refreshing aspect to this. Just training for a new fighter, getting ready for a new challenge. There's something light about doing that, so it's a pretty cool thing.
¿Cómo te preparas mentalmente? Porque con Figueiredo fuiste intercambiando resultados, pero cuando vas contra alguien que te ha ganado 2 veces, de la manera que haya sido, mentalmente, ¿cómo te preparas? Campeonato mundial, a defender tu corona, pero es alguien que te ha ganado. ¿Cómo llegas tú al entrenamiento y cómo llegas a esta semana de la pelea?
How do you prepare yourself for training? I mean, you actually had this ups and downs against and the ebbs and flows against Figueiredo, but in this case, you're fighting a fighter that actually beat you twice. So how does it change in that sense? How do you go? What's your mindset coming into the camp, and what's your mindset coming into the fight?
Claro, mira, es obvio que tomo en cuenta ligeramente el hecho de que perdí con él. No lo puedo borrar de mi pasado y es un hecho, ¿no? Pero partiendo de ahí, lo único que he tratado de hacer para este nuevo combate es aprender de qué hice mal, de qué hice bien y qué hice mal en esos combates, ¿no? Porque a pesar de que pierdo y que sé que cometí muchísimos errores, hay cosas que todavía logré hacer de buena manera. Entonces, solamente trato de agarrar la experiencia, trato de agarrar toda la madurez posible, de ver esto como un nuevo reto y no enfocarme tanto en la derrota, sino ver esto como una forma diferente y nueva de seguir formando mi legado. Creo que es lo más importante, ¿no? Es lo que comentaba ahorita en inglés, de que, hey, o sea, esta oportunidad es de que, hey, vas a ganarle al tipo que te ganó en el pasado, en International Fight Week, con la arena repleta de posiblemente banderas mexicanas. Siento que esta va a ser una oportunidad muy chida. Se me pone la piel de gallina cuando nada más pienso en eso.
Of course, I can't forget the fact that I had lost the fights. You can't delete that from your past, but I do look back at those fights and I see the things that I've done well and I think that I didn't do so well, and that even though there are losses out there, there are things in there that maybe that we can keep for future fights. And again, just like I was telling everyone in English, this opportunity, just, hey, fight this guy who beat you twice, beat him here, beat him to keep the title, beat him in a full arena, International Fight Week, possibly full of Mexican flags. I mean, I just try to see it as a new challenge for me.
Perdón, para seguir el español, Jesús Aguilar, Yasmín Jauregui, tu gran amigo Edgar Chávez, Jair Rodríguez, Brandon Moreno. La gran
Qué chido.
sí, con 5 peleadores mexicanos. ¿Cómo te sientes?
Just to follow the questions in Spanish, you heard it. You got Yasmin Jauregui, you got Edgar Chávez, you got Jesus Aguilar, you got Jair Rodríguez, and you have Brandon Moreno. What a party full of Mexicans. How do you feel?
Mira, antes que nada, pues ya he tenido este tipo de momentos en el pasado, ¿no? Cuando compartí cartelera con varios mexicanos en Ciudad de México, la cartelera de Anaheim, por ahí estaba Silvana y por ahí me olvido de los demás, pido una disculpa. Michael estuvo, si no me equivoco, a lo mejor no mexicanos, pero compañeros. Y esta vez hablando específicamente de México, creo que lo vuelve muy especial. Claro que sí, porque no solamente son personas las cuales comparten bandera conmigo, sino son personas con las cuales he compartido varios momentos a lo largo de mi vida, como lo es con Yasmín, como lo es con Chuy Aguilar y sobre todo con Edgar, ¿no? Edgar que, híjole, lo conozco ya desde muchos años atrás, sé lo duro que ha trabajado para esta oportunidad, sé lo que ha batallado, sé las veces que se ha tropezado y los obstáculos que ha tenido que pasar para llegar hasta aquí. Va a ser una pelea pues complicada para él, es una pelea en corto aviso, contra un Tatsuro Taira que se ha visto muy bien de una manera muy técnica en su paso por la UFC, pero híjole, o sea, yo estoy muy confiado en que le va a ir muy bien. Y hablando ya pues otra vez en general, o sea, Jair peleando por campeonato contra Alexandre Volkanovski, yo mismo, Yasmín, Chuy, eso se puso muy chido, la verdad es que se puso muy bien, estoy muy contento por ellos y me siento también muy honrado de que la UFC nos haya dado esta importancia a nosotros los mexicanos en un evento tan importante para ellos como lo es International Fight Week.
I've gone through the situation plenty of times actually in Mexico, fighting around so many people and sharing the card with Mexicans as well, but also the card in Anaheim. I mean, it was myself there, it was Michael Morales, Genaro, a lot of people, and everybody was there. I mean, it was a card that I shared with Mexicans, but this is just a different story. I mean, this is International Fight Week. These are not just compatriots that share a flag with me, but many of them, actually, we share different moments in training. I mean, with everybody that's coming up, you see Jair fighting for the title. You have, especially Jair, because someone that's been with me for such a long time. I know what he's all about. I know how hard he's worked for this. I know he's had the opportunity. I know the trials and tribulations, and sometimes he stepped along the way, but it's so important to have him here. At the end of the day, having him and Jauregui and all them, it's so important at the end of the day, this has been a pretty cool thing.
Hace 10 años que se entabló una amistad muy bonita con Jair Rodríguez, que se conocieron Jackson Wink MMA, me ha tocado a mí cubrirlos estos 10 años, ver cómo se echan porras, cómo se ayudan, cómo trabajan entre ustedes. Le preguntaba yo hace rato, me dice, es que Brandon es mi inspiración. Me abrió los ojos, me hizo lo que es ver unificando cinturón.
Qué chido.
Que las cosas eran posibles, pero Brandon me enseñó y me dijo, oye cabrón, ahí está, tú puedes unificar el cinturón. ¿Qué significa que compartas este momento con tu gran amigo y que tu amigo te dedique esas palabras antes de una noche tan importante como esta?
You've known Yair Rodriguez for 10 years, and when asked here before, he said, you know, is that Brandon Moreno is my inspiration, somebody that opened my eyes and said, hey, dude, it's here for the taking. We've seen you cheer for him, we've seen him cheer for you, and how does it feel now to actually be sharing this amazing card together with Yair Rodriguez?
Híjole, sí, pues a Yair lo conocí. Yo llegué a Albuquerque diciembre de 2013. Y ahí nos conocimos, empezamos a entrenar juntos, después él pues, se va de Ultimate Fighter, yo me regreso a mi casita y luego ya empiezo a pelear en Arizona, pues okay. Cada quien tuvo un camino diferente y yo me siento muy contento por él porque cada quien a su manera pues ha logrado sus sueños, ¿no? Y ha logrado sus cosas y todo eso que me comentas y todo eso que Yair dice pues me llena de mucho orgullo, me honra mucho y me hace pues sentir muy feliz, ¿no? Muy contento y estoy bien agradecido por las cosas que dice y nada, o sea, súper contento porque vamos a compartir cartelera y es que yo sé de lo que es capaz Yair y creo que se ha comentado mucho a lo largo de la semana, ¿no? Que el estilo de Yair, y estoy bien de acuerdo, creo que es un estilo bien complicado para quien sea y creo que va a ser un estilo bien complicado para Volkanovski por la altura, por lo impredecible, por el alcance, por el pateo. Yo me veo ganando junto con él y tomándonos una foto muy chida al final de la noche el sábado.
We go way back to December 3rd, 2013, Albuquerque. Then, you know, life is taking us separate ways. I went to Arizona. Everybody else was Ultimate Fighter, and it was my turn. So I just, he's a guy who just made things, he's making dreams come true. And the fact that he said those words, it just makes me so happy and also so proud of something like that. And, you know, about him, I know the guy. And I know how hard he can be. I know how his reach, I know his power. I know that style that makes it difficult for a lot of other fighters, especially for Volkanovski. And I really want to I can see myself taking a picture on Saturday with him, a picture of us together with belts.
Yeah, Brandon, just quick over here. You mentioned being at Fortis MMA. Who did you mainly get to train with over there? Because when you think of that gym, it's a lot of fighters in higher weight classes. We see Marcelo Rojo here. Who else did you get to work with?
No, Marcelo is, I don't know, he's not a fight right now. He's going to fight coming soon in July 15th, so he's in shape. He's making weight. But there in Dallas, I had two specific training partners. Nick Piccinini, who is All-American in wrestling. He helped me like a lot. And another one was Ian Eggbrooks, is su apellido? Eggbrooks. I mean, all those guys helped me a lot, gave me a lot of hard sparring sessions. And man, I feel really prepared. Hopefully they will be very cool if they stay here, but they came back to Dallas. But man, I mean, Nick and Ian, those guys helped me a lot for this preparation.
And just last one from me. Have you been given any indication who will fight the winner of this? Is it going to be Brandon Royval or Amir Albazi? What do you think sort of will be next for the winner of this fight?
I mean, I think Brandon Royval is actually here, you know, for a backup as a backup fighter. So after this fight, yeah, I mean, I'm not even thinking about the future, but yeah, I mean, Royval is there.
Brandon, back here to you. Obviously a lot's been made of the fact that you've lost to him twice now, but you're still a betting favorite. What does that mean to you? That at least the odds makers still think you're at least a better fighter.
Man, in the past when I was the favorite in the odds, I lost. So that doesn't mean nothing for me, man. I'm trying to never watch nothing about bets, about odds, who's the favorite, who's the underdog, because for me that doesn't matter. I think that's an extra motivation for Pantoja. Like, oh, I'm the underdog, okay. So I'm taking care of that. Okay, I'm thinking about it, and I'm just trying to win, man. I don't care nothing more.
Perfect. And last question. It's not the exact same situation by any means, but obviously back in, I believe, April, we saw Israel Adesanya, beat someone who had beaten him multiple times, and the eruption from the athlete itself in the arena was pretty crazy. Do you see that same situation playing out for you if you went on Saturday night?
Man, I mean, in the past, Pantoja, obviously, before to Alexander lost against Alex lost against Adesanya, but Pantoja say, "Oh, I'm his Poitin." Like, maybe yes, maybe he is. We did it, guys.